All right, y'all, I keep getting all these people online coming after me saying, Cliff, you're cherry picking the numbers. You're only showing the Democrat returns in 2020 compared to 2024, and the same thing with Republicans. All right, so we pulled the 2022 numbers today, and I couldn't believe it. I had to run the numbers 3 or 4 times with my team. Listen to this. In 2022, Democrat mail-in requests at this time compared to right now for 2024, they're up 19%. Wow. Huge gains. Where are Republicans at? Republican mail-in requests from 2022 compared to right now, this far out in the election, they're up 85%. Folks, we came to win. Republicans are adapting. We're fighting fire with fire. We're going to beat the Democrats at their own tactics in 2024. Time's up.
Gang, the election has officially begun. Voting has already started, and you're not going to believe what's happening. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you stay sane in these insane times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we dive into the first returns we're seeing for the 2024 election, I want everyone to know that if you're finding yourself in the painful position of owing back taxes, we got some patriots here that are ready to help. As I'm sure you know, the IRS is currently on its way to making everyone pay up. They've hired thousands of new agents and sent over 5 million pay-up letters in 2024 alone. But if you're dealing with that mess, I want to connect you with a real, tangible solution. Don't give up your rights or deal with them alone. You know the IRS ain't your friend. Let Tax Network USA, a trusted tax relief firm, save you the time and money you deserve to keep. They've saved Americans, get this, over $1 billion in back taxes and have the skills needed to secure you the best possible deal. From a few $1,000s to $10 million. Business to personal taxes, let Tax Network USA restore your good standing so you could strengthen your financial foundation. When your situation is secure, you become the pillar of strength our nation needs. Click on that link below or call 1-800-245-6000. That's 1-800-245-6000 for a private free consultation, or visit them at tnusa.com/Turley. Voting for the 2024 election is officially underway, and we've got data coming out of some key swing states that suggests that Kamala collapse has officially begun. Let's start with the key swing state of North Carolina. Here's the vote by mail breakdown thus far. Take a look at this, gang. Back in 2020, the mail-in ballot numbers were 51% Democrat, 18% Republican. In 2022, it slightly dropped for both, 49% Democrat, 17% Republican. But take a look at what's happening now. Democrats have plunged to 40% from a high of 52% back in 2020. Democrats have plunged to 40%, and Republicans are up to 22% from 18% in 2020. Now, of course, keep in mind, Trump won North Carolina back in 2020, beat Biden 50-48. And so now in 2024, the Democrats are down, but the Republicans are up in terms of voting by mail. Not a good sign. And that Republican surge in vote by mail requests parallels the significant voter registration advantage they have right now. Basically, Republicans have out-registered the Democrats 2-1 in North Carolina. By the way, way to go, Mike Whatley, the chairman of the RNC. He's a North Carolina Republican. He's really transformed the party there. Now, you have to keep in mind something here. We can ask, how were the Republicans able to overcome that massive vote by mail deficit back in 2020 and even in 2022 when they won a supermajority in their state legislature? Well, one of the reasons for that is that North Carolina Democrats inordinately vote Republican. You have to remember that. North Carolina Democrats vote more Republican than Democrats do in, as I understand it, any other state. For whatever reason, North Carolina has a sizable portion of Democrats that have been voting Republican now for the last several election cycles. They're old school conservative Democrats, Southern Democrats who just never changed their party affiliation. So a Democrat voter advantage in North Carolina does not translate into an actual voting advantage for the Democrats. Obviously not. They had a huge, huge vote by mail advantage in 2020, but they lost. So vote by mail requests for the Democrats are down. All the while, vote by mail requests for Republicans are up, made all the worse by the fact that many North Carolina Democrats always turn around and vote Republican. Now, the historian Larry Schweikert has been following the mail-in ballot requests from the Tar Heel state, and he's pointing out that things just get worse for Kamala. And that's because whites now comprise nearly 71% of the mail-in ballot requests, whereas blacks have dropped off to only 11.7%. Now, keep in mind, blacks were 16% of mail-in ballot requests back in 2020. Now they've dropped to just shy of 12%. And again, to make matters even worse, more blacks than ever are voting what? They're voting for whom? More than ever. They're voting for Trump. Polls show upwards of 20% are ready to vote for Trump. So less blacks are voting in North Carolina, while at the same time, more are voting for Trump. So as Schweikert notes here, the electorate in 2024 is turning out to be much more white and much more Republican. Now, why is it significant that it's much more white? Why is that so important for November? Well, in our first video, we talked extensively about the absolutely disastrous New York Times poll for Kamala that dropped over the weekend. You'll definitely want to check out that video. It's a deep dive into the first post-Labor Day polling dropped by the New York Times, which tends to be a bellwether for November, at least in terms of the trajectory of the race. And Kamala is literally collapsing as we speak. You'll definitely want to check out that video. But one of the stats that came out of that polling was that Trump has doubled his support among whites from 2020. In 2020, Trump was leading Biden among white voters by 7 points, 49 to 42. So that's a formidable lead. But look at the lead he has amassed over Kamala. He's now beating Harris by twice that, 54 to 40. That's a 14-point lead over Kamala among white voters. And so the fact that the white vote now is higher in 2024 is nothing short of disastrously dire for Kamala. And to make matters even worse for Kamala, a court has just ordered Robert Kennedy's name removed entirely from North Carolina ballots. As you know, Democrats have been desperately trying to keep Kennedy's name on the swing state ballots after data was released that he was hurting Trump's chances at winning in those states, drawing popular support away from Trump. Now, with his joining forces with Trump, he has successfully sued to have his name removed, not just from North Carolina's ballots, but also from Michigan's as well. So the Democrats' losing streak just seems to continue here. Now, let's go on over to the key swing state of Pennsylvania. Our good friend Jack over at Red Eagle Politics, he was just talking about this over the weekend. We now have data that shows that not only is the Democrat mail-in ballot request way, way down from 2020. We're talking down about 60% than they were at this time in 2020. But we're seeing a massive increase among GOP mail-in ballot requests as compared to this time in 2022 during the midterms. So right now, as we speak, Republican mail-in ballot requests are up nearly 85% from where they were at this time just 2 years ago. Democrat requests are up as well, but marginally, only about 18%. The Democrat advantage that they had, their super advantage that they had in both 2020 and 2022 has basically been wiped out. They still have an advantage, but nowhere near what we were looking at in 2020 and 2022. So again, this suggests not only Republicans are taking mail-in ballots seriously, which we've been arguing they need to for sure, but that voter enthusiasm is through the roof with Pennsylvania Republicans in a way that it simply isn't with Pennsylvania Democrats. And again, this data parallels the massive surge in Republican voter registration in Pennsylvania. Thank you, Scott Pressler. You're the best. The Democrats used to have 1 million voter registration advantage. That's been slashed now to just a few 100,000. And again, many of those Democrats have defected and are voting for Trump. They're white and non-white working class voters who don't necessarily trust the GOP, but they sure love Trump. And finally, in the state of Georgia, look at this. Vote by mail ballot requests have dropped 90%. They've gone from 800,000 in 2020 to now a paltry 80,000. Gang, seriously, gang, that's the ball game right there. Georgia has instituted some of the strictest election integrity laws in the nation. They have a MAGA majority overseeing their state election board. I mean, this is a game changer from 2020. So as voting begins, it looks like Trump is poised to dominate like never before, all as Kamala's campaign appears to be crumbling.